Yachty.
3:08.
It's 3:08. I almost said 3:11. How dare.
Because our clock's fucking wrong, which I hate, but...
And yet, we haven't fixed.
I swear that no, it's because every time I rechange it...
It's the microwave
It gets 3
clock.
minutes ahead. Why 3?
You know, it's not the microwave's job to keep time.
I shouldn't even be using that clock.
It's the microwave's job to heat food.
Sometimes I change it and it's a minute over and I'm like, all right, I was probably wrong. A minute's okay, but it always works its way up to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And 3 is too many.
I think I could do 5.
Oh, no.
And then,
definitely could not do 5.
Like, my grandfather used to set all the clocks in their house 5 minutes ahead because my grandma was, she would piddle.
Yep.
And piddling just means, like, she just checks everything, like, 4 or 5 times and fix her hair, change her shirt.
She's thorough.
She's thorough, yes. But my grandfather was like, Pat, come on, time to go. So he set all the clocks 5 minutes ahead. So I think I'm okay with 5 minutes.
5's too many.
But, like, if you do 10, that feels insane.
10 is ridiculous.
Are you a crazy person?
Also, like, are all of your clocks, are all of them 10 ahead other than your phone?
Whoa, what if you went into somebody's house and all of their clocks were just a different time?
I would probably just change them all. I've gone into many a space, seen the wrong time and changed it.
I always wondered if that age-old prank on teacher where you change the clock to, like, oh, look, class is over. You know?
Like, the
if that would
teacher
work.
takes a bathroom break.
Yes,
You have enough
you
time to
change the
it.
clock. You put it up. But the real, it's not... I just think that's hard, you know?
To trick a teacher?
Well, to trick anyone that has a normal sense of time.
And, well, especially with phones now. Like, most people have their phone to check.
Well, you know what? Phones die.
Phones do die. That's why I started wearing watches.
Sometimes technology just...
I love when my phone dies.
It just poofs. Which is why paper is great.
Paper's lit.
Paper's good.
And the handwriting can pull you through.
Yeah, I love the Paper Source store.
Oh, it's a peaceful store to be in. It has, like, a bookstore energy, but a productive layer of, like, I'm the one that's going to write something. So
and they've got so many crafty, like, other crafty stuff.
They do have a lot of crafty stuff. It feels very, like, homey in there.
Feels very, like, yeah.
Pastel.
We're gonna come on in here. We're gonna help you craft.
But it's not quite the same
help
as
you find your craft.
Did you ever go to those, like, the art stores? There's one
art stores like Blick.
Yeah, kind of. Like
I love the art store. I went on tour. We were at RISD, and they've got the Rhode Island School of Design and School of Rhode Island, yeah, School of Design. Okay.
I'm like, I thought that was
the letters were mixed up in my head. But I went through their art store.
Okay, yeah.
And you know, it's always fun to walk through, and I just love to see all the supplies laid out. And
there's always stuff like you've never heard of.
And it's all organized by color.
Very organized,
and it's just like, it's just very organized in there. Damn it.
Wait, where are we going?
Chipotle. But we can take the long way to Chipotle. It seems like it's gonna rain.
It's supposed to. We'll see if it happens.
Rain on me.
It's gonna rain.
Oh,
I love that fucking guy.
What is that from?
That's from Family Guy. You know the black guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who just says it's gonna rain. Does he say things other than it's? Because in my head it's always it's gonna rain, but he might have other lines.
I think eventually, yes.
God, it's so funny. That literally pops into my head like every time it's gonna rain. Talk about TV invading your brain.
Right. I feel like it is going to rain. Looks like it.
Looks like it.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Quite cloudy. Quite cloudy.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, we've been calling this walk and fart because we're walking and we're feeling farty. But I do want to change we had this other thing that we were doing called Hypocrites Welcome. And I think that title just fits all of the stuff. So
It does.
all of this is going to go together now.
Now, Hypocrites Welcome is just a larger umbrella.
Hypocrites Welcome on a walk.
And it's good to keep
Hypocrites Walk.
Hypocrites Walk. It's good to keep the hypocritical in mind, for sure.
Yes, try not to be, but man, it happens.
Oh, it happens often.
Isn't it correct?
Last time you were hypocritical, go!
And they're always really hard to spot.
They are,
you know?
they're really hard.
But it's often when, like, somebody annoyed me for something, and it's something stupid that I do all the time.
Absolutely.
It's like, it's only okay when I do it!
Yeah. No, I feel it a lot, like, walking places. I expect a lot of people to get out of my way.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also, it's a mix, because I do get out of a lot of people's way. But there are times where I'm definitely just, like, cutting through bodies.
Yeah.
And if the roles were reversed, I'd be like, who is this bitch?
Yeah.
Just, like, making her own line.
Get out of here.
So I'm definitely hypocritical in my walking strategies at times.
Yes. I don't know. We're all hypocrites.
We are.
Everybody. We try not to be. I think everybody does their best.
That was a drop.
Twas.
But it's okay. We're gonna make it through. Also, this was just empty for the longest? Is that what
Yeah,
this
it was. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
It's
thought
a
they
lot.
made it into
They made it into a park.
a park.
It's like Parks and Recreation. But that park is different.
Pretty fucking small. It's
Same but different.
a lot of cement. We have one park in Hayes Valley
Uh-huh.
in San Francisco where the middle sculpture rotates a lot.
Uh-huh.
And one of my mom and I's favorite was this really tall woman with her hair down who was like, I guess she was kind of made of like a brassy metal material.
Uh-huh.
Kind of just like woven metals almost. So she didn't really have clothing per se.
Uh-huh.
And she's just like in this kind of twisted, I think it was meant to be dancey. It was like twisted and kind of lean back pose. And it looked good from up close, but it was tall enough where like really there was one alley where you could really get a good look at it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sad that this random alley is the best view.
Well, we love the stereotypical, what's that called? Recline.
Recline.
The reclining pose.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh, one of my favorite, or I don't know if my favorite, but I thought it was really funny.
That counts.
It was a performance art piece by, oh my gosh, I am terrible for not being able to think of her name right now. It was her and her
name.
partner.
Her and her partner.
She's like kind of the performance art lady. She goes hard, like
Her
too
and her
hard,
partner. Too hard.
which is why, you know, artists.
What were they doing?
Well, she was nude and she was running up and slamming herself against the wall of a gallery because women are always, it was a rebellion against the women are always nude hung on the wall. So she was trying to,
Hang yourself.
you want to see me on the wall naked? Here we go. So she would throw herself against the thing, and she just did that for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And she does not play. She hits that wall. And I found it comedic because it's apt.
Was she turning her head? Like, did the head alternate sides?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or was it like,
I mean, no, not like
was it
noggin
like
into the thing.
splayed or?
It was like, you know, how you would throw yourself into something. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible.
I mean, I'm just bad. I can't think of it.
Abramovich.
Oh, okay.
Marina Abramovich? Maria? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but. So her partner wasn't in that with her?
No, well, it was a big drama. Her and her partner, they were both like the most hardcore. And they kind of like, they encouraged each other to be hardcore because they couldn't find anybody else to be as hardcore as them. So they did, they did some crazy performance stuff, like the one where they're like holding a bow and arrow and it's knocked, and the arrow is like facing directly at her body, and he's like leaning back and holding it, and she just has to trust that he's not going to let go of the string, because then the arrow's going to go through her. Yeah. All these things that are a little bit very kind of dangerous.
I mean, yeah.
But the image is very
striking.
And maybe because we feel that there's danger, maybe we're a little more active in our participation.
Exactly. I think there is a role of that, like, sort of shock with engagement.
She's gonna die.
Like, how much... I think sometimes it's like, how much surprise do we need the audience to have to actually be engaged?
Or she did one where she encircled herself with flames and screamed until she passed out.
That's exciting.
She did lots of stuff like that were very, arty. Oh, let's go. Yeah. It's not raining yet. What else did she do? She's done so many pieces. I think she did one where she walked the Great Wall of China, which is apparently very long. Great Wall.
Great.
Yes. And did you know that when they built the Great Wall, they were going to paint it red, but then they decided it was too expensive.
I did not.
I don't know if that was a decision more as like, you can't afford this, and do you want half of your wall to be red? No.
No.
They at least could have painted the inside of the wall.
Red is a very important color culturally, though, for China.
It's the highest frequency color that we see.
Highest frequency. But yeah, I don't think it needed to be red.
Probably not. I mean, it's still a wall. It's doing it.
Where are we going? This way or this way?
Well, those people are walking slow. Bounce off the wall. But I just found that so apt. I loved it. Her throwing herself into the wall. There's like, when you're like, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I need this stuff to do this thing. She's like, I got to take off my clothes and throw myself up against the wall.
I need less.
I need
take this off.
Yeah. It's just literally nothing.
But also it speaks to the power of a gallery space, though, as well.
That's true.
Like, her doing it on this wall, like...
Oh, yeah, no.
What would that be?
Well, it doesn't have the same context as the female reclining nude, whatever.
It does not.
Context. Does it matter? I say yes.
Usually. I think it heightens and, like, de-escalates something, Like, if something's good out of context...
I like your hat.
I think it should be good in context.
I agree. But I do agree with the way that you phrased it. Heightens and de-escalates. That's a good way to say it.
But I love it in no context at all. When I'm going to see something, I think I'm more likely to enjoy myself if I know nothing about it.
Yeah. Well, I try to stay... You want to, like, be in the dark when you go into certain... maybe not a process that you're being a part of. It's not as fun to be in the dark in the process. But when you're going into, like, sometimes if I'm going into a movie, like, I don't want to know anything.
In movies, I don't.
You know what that came from? I went and saw, there was this one time where my whole family, we were all going to a movie, and they were like, somebody pick. And so I got put in charge of picking the movie. And there was this one movie called, I think we might have talked about this. Molly Bloom or something.
Oh yeah, we talked about that movie.
Yes.
You picked it. Oh,
I didn't
get the background on that.
I picked that movie because I was like, well, this is the only one that's out that, like, it looks cool, but I knew nothing about it. And the whole drive there, I was like, oh, like, because it's a fortune to take a family of 6 to see a movie to get 2 popcorns and 5 drinks and all the bullshit or whatever.
Especially the drinks.
Oh my god, it's expensive. So I made the decision. So and then it was so good. And I was like, wow, I love having no idea and then it being really great.
That was Molly's game, right?
Molly's game.
Yeah.
But if I would have seen that and it was terrible, I wouldn't have enjoyed the experience as much.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
unless it was supposed to be terrible on purpose, which does happen.
Surprise plays such a large role in me being entertained that knowing nothing about it just usually helps.
Do you feel, what's his beef?
What's his beef?
Oh, he did all the movies. Everybody loves him. Hitchcock. He was talking about... Everybody loves him. I don't know. But he talks about it not being like surprise, it being suspense. That is the real driver of
because
like a good scary movie, or a good movie in general, I think.
Within surprise, there's like leading up to it, the type of suspense of the guessing and the not knowing.
Yeah.
And I think suspense done well, yeah, absolutely. But I hate fake suspense. Like something getting drawn out and being like, yeah, we know. So, but real suspense in a good movie, absolutely. Like, because I think it's like it's surprise just the end. Because suspense feels like along with the surprise.
Agreed.
So I see his point.
I need to watch more of those. I've only seen The Birds and
The Birds, The Window? No, the Rear Window?
Yeah. Those two are those ones I've seen.
Yeah, I think those are the ones I've seen.
Rear Window is so good.
I
love that one.
All those shots are so fun. All the windows.
Yeah, well, that's what I love about it. They're also, it's so stationary.
Yeah.
But it's not at all.
Well, yeah, because suspense in that way, where it's less of like, it's more of a waiting than of a like. But I think.
But it does have some
movie
moments.
It does, yeah. But some of the shots are just like so slow.
Yeah.
That you just kind of settle in, like, whose window is this?
No, I love a slow burn, though.
Amen. Most people are missing out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand because I go through. My attention span is just like, it used to be longer. And I really enjoy slow, long things, but like it took us, because we started watching The Boys.
Yes.
And the first episode with like the first 10 minutes went by and I was like, oh my God, like,
yes, but
this is so long.
The beginning of the series too. Though,
but that's because I've been watching Instagram and all these short ass videos.
Yeah.
It only been 10 minutes, you impatient little shit. Like, come on. And then we got through the first episode, which was great, and then the second one was good too. And by the end of the second one, I was like, another one. So it's like, it took me, I guess, an episode and a half to...
Well, no, because I think for a lot of people it is, like, settling in. Like, and I think that's because I was talking to one of my coworkers about, like, I like the movies, but I don't like paying for them, so I don't go that often.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers was like, it's the whole experience, though. It's, like, sitting there and not being able to just pause it while you go somewhere.
It is that.
Like, and I was like, I guess. If I don't want to pause it, I don't.
I'll get on my phone, but I know in the theater, like, you don't get on your phone.
You're more committed to the experience of the movie.
Well, you paid for it. If you're paying for it, that was always like...
I think it's the same as the group fitness class argument of like, well, shit, I paid for this package of whatever, like now I have to go, and this is why they expire, to give you that like anxiety of, oh my God, I'm going to waste money.
Yep. Which, I hate that.
But it's useful. It is like, it kicks us in gear a little bit.
No, I mean wasting money.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I don't know, you know when you make something and like I like it, you're like, was that just a waste of money?
No.
I spent all this time.
I know, but at the...
Or when you look at our degrees. It's like, I loved it. I learned a lot. I feel... okay? I feel like... Yeah, I learned a lot and enjoyed my time and got what I wanted out of it. But now that I'm out here in the real world, it doesn't hold much weight. And sometimes I'm just like, ugh. Was all that money just...
Yeah, no, I think it's very easy to feel that way. I mean, I tell myself no every day because What's like?
Yeah,
I
or
think
like
there
paying
is-
for dance before college, because that's another thing. Like, we paid for dance for a long ass
We
time.
did. Half
My
of
poor
our life.
parents.
But I think I was reading something the other day that's just like, if you enjoy it, because sometimes I do find myself like questioning joy. You know, it's like,
Ooh, questioning joy.
Why do I like this thing?
Yeah.
You know, like, is it a waste of money even though I had fun or whatever?
Well, this is just like that Instagram video that we were listening to. This lady was like, she was really just trying to explain her
Pathos, maybe? Her mantra?
her mantra. I guess the way that she wants to live a pleasurable, she wants to have a good time.
And I think with that, there will always be doubt. Like, that's kind of what FOMO feels like to me, of the whole, like, well, I'm, like, pleasantly relaxed where I am, but this person, they look like they're having fun. Like,
Yeah.
well, really, it's like, oh, if you're pleasantly relaxed, you know, is that fun for you right now? And it's not. But it plays into the good enough as well. Like,
Yeah.
is
And
how happy I am right now happy enough?
you just gotta, it's a you thing. It's you gotta know.
Yeah, they know. That's to know
Isn't that annoying?
how you feel, but I don't.
Oh, the wind. Oh, it feels so good. I went and did the rehearsal today, and the room had like a box fan, or not a box fan, and it had like a standy uppy fan, but it didn't have an AC unit.
Oh, shit, so it was a hot
It
spot.
was hot in there,
Damn.
but I was honestly like, I was always
sweating.
Yeah, I love it. No, because we were in pre-pro, so it's like we're not like going balls to the wall and like doing stuff.
Yeah.
But so I still got my sweat on,
Yeah.
but didn't like destroy
Die.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sweating is another one of those like boundaries of like, it can feel really good when you're just past it.
Yeah.
But if you keep going, like, you will be hurt the next day.
When you get to heat rash,
Yes.
it's probably
But I think
time.
there's also that, like, yes, I'm working so hard, I'm sweating, and then the other side of that, it's like, damn, I'm so weak that I'm sweating this much. It's like, what's
Right.
at a certain point of, like, I must be close to death, and therefore I'm fit.
I had that thought because I went back and looked at my phone and I was like, I should not be sweating this much. But hot, so.
But hot.
But hot.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely just a sweater.
For
at this point.
why?
I had to just, like, cap it as, like, part of my identity, because I'm like, I can't think about how much I'm sweating. We're just going to call it sweaty.
The other night, Heidi Klum said,
The other night, my friend Heidi.
she said, yeah, my girl, she was like, what did she say? She was like, when I'm doing shoots, I just think to myself, face, don't sweat. And then I sweat everywhere else and not on my face. She was like, that's my special skill. And I was like, damn.
Oh my god.
Every single, like today, Lauren grabbed my arm and she slipped on my sweat.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I should be doing the Heidi Klum on my forearms.
Should be doing the Heidi Klum.
You
I
know?
love that. That's like one time, what was the context? Speaking of context. I can't remember. Oh, actually it was,
Context.
it was my first singing teacher, the one that you knew from the camp or whatever. Oh, what's her name? Jennifer Steinhardt.
Smolos.
Yeah.
I love Jen
Such a
Smolos.
sweetie. Yeah, so it was her actually. We were in a singing lesson a long time ago, and I was just and we were talking about breathing, and I was saying like, oh yeah, well, as a Trina, like my ribs really want to go this way.
Yes.
And she was just like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, sorry.
I think I'm overthinking that.
I was like, when you're posing in the core, you're supposed to breathe this way,
Yeah.
so the audience doesn't see you breathing this way. And she was like, oh my god, I didn't know that was a thing. And I was like, oh, there you go, there you have it. That's why I'm breathing weird.
All these facts that I know that don't really pertain to my life.
Exactly. Like now I can pose and only get wider.
Oh, I love Jen. She's also somebody that played a pivotal role in my my New York time.
My New York time. How so?
I went to a summer camp, at ADA, American Academy of the Dramatic Arts, and she was in charge of the program at the time. And you know, the money was really expensive, and so we just emailed like asking if we could do it, and she emailed back and was so personable, and like we got all the money stuff figured out, which, you know, asking for doing any kind of that stuff, it always comes with a chip of like, oh God, like having to ask somebody for this, and
Yeah.
it's just a reminder that you don't got it. And I've always had to ask if I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So we got it figured out. She was so sweet. And then when I got there, she was just one of those teachers that was so on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just knows her craft.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had voice teachers that were not as... I've had all great voice teachers, but the way that Jen, she was the one who said, you know, like, take the technique, take what works for you, and make your own little thing. Don't try to just fit the technique, because everybody's a little different. And
kind of like pointing out that it is your craft. It's not just the technique.
Yeah. So you want to have as much technique and whatever as possible, but when it comes down to it, and you're just trying to get the sound out, if you have a better balance and it sounds right, then all good. And she just kind of gave me the freedom to let go a little bit of the technical, which, you know, as the dancer, that is just hard.
Sure.
Because it's ingrained. If you like, ballet, you know.
I think personable is the right word for her, though. She is really good at being personable. And
a very good communicator,
yes.
Explaining.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed her.
Very friendly presence.
I was so sad. She's the person I would go into if I had an audition.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go in and sing with her before the audition, and then she left.
Oh, she's not at NYU anymore?
No. I wanted her to I thought she was gonna get a job another place in Tisch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she got a better position offered to
out of
her.
the city?
Yes, in California.
Hey.
So she's living it up in the sunshine.
Aw.
But man, she's amazing.
Yeah. I think I had her for like maybe a full semester, I don't think we got to a full year because my schedule changed. But I had her for a chunk, and she's a sweetie. For sure.
She was I'm trying to think of another memory I had with her. I was like...
I had her at 8 a.m.
Oh my God, voice lesson.
Because I was taking those classes before my French classes, and those were at 9. Mm-hmm. Or like 9:15, so I had enough time to get there. But those mornings were always like a lot at once.
Yeah.
Singing to another language, my brain was like, whoa. But got it done. That's what matters.
Linguistics. Ah!
But it was nice that we were like offered those courses. So that's all that matters.
It was nice, and gosh, because I did the summer intensive with her, I didn't know that she worked at
yeah, I know.
not Stern,
Steinhardt.
Yeah. And so when that like worked out that she could be my voice teacher and like the whole at school, and I didn't have to pay for it. It was through school, which, you know, paying for anyway. So that was the best.
Yes, no, it's a good combo.
God, so glad that worked out.
Paying for things, it's always a pain.
It's on the mind.
Never been here.
Well, I've never been to any of these places.
We went to an analog coffee in Vietnam. That's where my head just went. But I don't know what that place is. Wicked Jane. Literally none of this.
Wicked Jane. Wicked Jane. Wicked Jane.
I'm excited to see next year this time if these are still here.
I'm curious,
question.
You know?
I really don't know. I can't tell how many businesses are like finding it, because for some
We're referring to
businesses,
outdoor seating.
Yes. outdoor seating, some businesses, if you have a corner especially, you can fit like 8 tables or more. So some people, they really take advantage, but it's all so dependent on where you are that it's also just not fair.
Like,
so.
that place didn't have any so them having an outdoor space is great because there's no room inside their $1 million rental,
right?
Restaurant rental. So like I understand why that's great, but I'm just done. Well, I guess I can't say I'm done eating on the street because I will eat on the street as long as I live here, but can we just eat inside?
I know, man. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I know, it's also in my head, it's such a symbol of COVID that it's hard to look at them and like feel objective, you know?
Yeah. Anything, I mean, that's kind of like everything now.
Yeah.
If anything has an attachment to anything that somebody finds displeasurable, then it's a no. But I don't see how you get past anything, you know? I don't see how anybody does anything.
I have a lot of negative associations with a lot of things.
Right. But it's not even like necessarily your negative associations. It's, I don't know, it's the way that it's the way that the brain does it. It's not like nobody's I don't think people are like doing it on purpose.
No, I think a lot of it's like negative nostalgia, you know?
Oh.
So it's like, and even that is made up by your, you know, like, just as memories change, I think nostalgia changes.
Ugh, memories changing. Isn't that a mind fuck?
It's the worst, because all you want to do is be like, no, I remember.
Yeah.
And your brain's just like,
but there are some
let me
things.
Change it.
I remember I don't know why, but there are things that I remember to the word of what this person. I think maybe because it hit me in the moment. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
You felt
Okay.
it.
Yeah. And I remember that. I think that maybe then there's a large portion of memory that's attached to like emotional.
Oh, is this Mitsubishi gonna hit me? Nah.
I don't know.
I don't.
There's an ambulance right behind it, so we're all good.
That'll hit me, but not that other car.
Whoop it whoop.
Whoop it up, whoop. A whoop a doo doo.
Oh, I like his little hat.
But yeah, I think it's just interesting, like, because I find myself do this a lot. The things that I just black out.
Yeah.
There are so many things that I do not think about.
But you can't remember everything at once.
No. But then, like, the random things, like, sometimes it's a smell, which, like, we do react to more severely.
Yes.
But, like, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's the tiniest thing. And I'm like, oh, shit, this whole memory that I had blacked out is back.
I don't even know if blacked out is the right, because...
Probably not. It's not like I took a Sharpie.
Yeah, you didn't like, what's it called when they do that to documents? They redact?
Yes.
It's like you redacted it. It's just like, again, your brain chose for you. It's so weird.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's so strange. Freakish.
And I guess it's also just because that always brings me, like,
black box.
to age and to elderly anything so quickly is like, at what point will my brain be making that decision way more often, you know?
Yeah. When it's just like, I've been around for 70 years.
If you want to remember this person's birthday, you gotta forget that.
Write it down. I forgot the story with the thing that we were talking about. I forgot the drama. So Marina and her partner, they made a bunch of great work or whatever, but they eventually came to I can't remember if there was a piece where they just sat across the table from each other for like a really really extended amount of time, and the guy, he was like having, apparently if you sit that still for like that long, like your body like starts to have reactions, and he said that he was having some kind of internal organ like pain, so he got up, and she was like, yeah, like I can't believe you after all of these pieces or whatever. So I can't remember if that's exactly what did it. I'm sure there was other stuff, bubbling.
Well, in a relation, if your relationship is, let me push you farther, it's like the relationship is a competition. It's not a relationship. Like,
well,
at what point?
I think competition can be a relationship, but
but I think that
healthy competition is a thing.
If your relationship is only a competition,
yeah.
Like, I wonder.
Well, I don't think that's what their relationship was. They're just only in their work, and so that happened. And then she did this piece at MoMA a long time ago, or maybe it wasn't a long time ago. We were in college, I think, called "The Artist Is Present," and she sat down at a table and let people just come and sit and they just looked at each other. And she was present, and it had been I'm gonna guess 20 years since they'd seen each other, and he came and sat down across the table, and they stared into each other's eyes, and I'm sure very meaningful and thank you for all the things that we did together kind of way.
See, that's where context is pivotal.
Right.
Because without the context, that's cute.
He would have just looked like a guy.
Yeah,
because they don't talk at the things. It's just about sitting and being present with the person. Yeah.
It's a short film in itself.
Well, she's had a very interesting life. I mean, he is too. Artists,
I know, exactly. I think that's the only thing we get. It's at the end of the day, we might not have health insurance, but if we have an interesting life, I hope it's worth it. That's what I tell myself a lot.
Well, that's what you got to tell yourself. When you're at the point of your career that we're at, where we're just chugging along, doing our best, and
holding on to interest.
We paid for the degree. I mean, we care about it, obviously. But then again, it's just a piece of paper. I'll never forget the first time my friend used that phrase, because I was still deciding on where I wanted to go to college, and when we're deciding where we want to go, we're deciding where we want to audition, because you might not get in, whatever. So, but I guess that's normal. Everybody has to apply. We just have an added little vault. But we were at UTK Knoxville, and she was like, yeah, I'm just here to get the piece of paper, and then I'm gonna go and roll. And
someone who was applying with you, or
no, my friend Jordan, who I love. She was just trying to figure out what she wanted to do in her freshman, maybe sophomore year, and she landed on photography, and she's now a really great wedding photographer, and she does lots of different kinds of photography. But she used the phrase, you just got to get the piece of paper, and I had never thought of it that way before. I was like, it's a degree. I was very and she said that, and I was like, oh, what? And then we kind of talked about something similar to that the other day, in terms of just paper, it's all just on paper. And that is just so weird. It's so strange.
I don't know, there's so many things like that though, where that's kind of how I feel about wealth sometimes, is most of it is still assumptions, if someone's wearing an expensive outfit, you can assume they're wealthy, but you don't actually know.
It could have a penny to their name.
And at the end of the day, it's just an expensive outfit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But
and fashion is cool and everything.
It's all giving us those pieces of our identity. Oh, but I have this degree. Oh, but I'm wearing these things.
But look at this shiny bag.
Exactly. It's just a piece of paper. I could see that being jarring at first.
I just had, when something smacks you in the face like that, and you're like,
I can't think of the first time someone said that to me.
I'll never forget it. I can't remember who we were in the car with, though. I do remember her saying it, though. I can, when you because I don't know where I was in Knoxville, because, but if we were in that spot again, I would recognize it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Like the first time someone told me something jarring.
The first time someone told you something jarring, wow.
Yeah. Trying to picture like my sister, like, you know, as a kid, just being like, what?
Oh, I just got the worst. I mean, I've had some death, and those things are so jarring, especially when they're a surprise. We just, you know, I think every town has like somebody driving home from somewhere, and maybe that's a really big assumption, but you know, somebody young dies that like didn't need to die, or, like there's a really severe accident or something, and those always like shock the town, you know.
Are you picturing like hearing of it the next day and being like, wait, what?
No, some of them like in our community, like my best friend was in which sounds whatever, he was in a golf cart accident, and a wheel on the golf cart, they were going down this big hill, and a wheel popped, and it sent them into a big mailbox, and so the kid who was in the front seat, he went straight into the mailbox and he died on impact. And my best friend Brennan was in the passenger seat, and he was shot out of the golf cart, and he had a bunch of stuff, neurological issues that he had to, I mean, he was so hurt for so long, and I'll never forget hearing that. And we went to the ICU and did the whole whatever, but I guess in those moments it is nice to see the community rally around.
Yeah. It's nice to see that people care.
Yes.
On the one side.
Oh, it was awful. I've had experienced a few of those in my life that were just like, God, that was, ugh. No, you don't got anything? I didn't trigger anything?
Definitely not that sad.
He's doing great now.
That's all that matters.
So that's good.
Thankfully. No, I remember, this has nothing to do with like San Francisco anymore, that I was like physically. So I don't think it happened in San Francisco. But do you remember a while ago? Of course they did. Maybe it was in Dublin, because I remember, I think they were all Irish. But a scaffolding kind of like fell or something, or there was some sort of like drunken party happening with too many people involved, and somehow I have scaffolding in my head. Maybe it was more of a balcony, but like people ended up falling out of the window and like multiple people died. And I just remember it being a talk with my mom about like why building codes matter, and like,
yeah,
you know, just one of those of being like, wow, this is what happens when a party like really goes out of control, or like this is the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So that's what came to mind. But
worst case scenario, ceiling comes tumbling in, which is
wild.
I mean, it's not a great scenario.
No.
Wow, getting dark.
At the end too. Usually we have it.
Right, how can we brighten it back up?
The middle.
All right. So now
that was loud. Bright. We're trying to be bright. Let's something bright. Flowers are nice.
Yes.
The world is still turning. That's pretty good.
The world is still turning.
Isn't that awesome?
And
It just does that while we all like.
exactly, and we don't have to push it.
Don't.
That's the best part about the world turning.
Big plus. We don't have to turn the world ourselves. Have a good one, everybody.